Hello, welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveji, your host. I'm welcoming you to the episode 64. And today's number is 2.7%. That is the latest inflation rate in the United States in July. Today we have a great guest. We'll talk about informative subjects. We'll talk about small businesses. And we have Joel Ackerman from CLA, who is the principal of the company. Let's welcome Joel and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Joel. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
It's my pleasure. How is your week going so far?
Going very well. It's you can't believe it's already Friday.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, happy Friday. Time flies. That's for sure. Thank you so much for being with us. And so we have different subjects to cover, different informative subjects. If that's okay, we can get the conversation started. As a start, briefly, would you please introduce yourself and your organization, CLA, to our audience and to our listeners, please?
Sure. Good afternoon. I'm Joel Ackerman. I'm a tax principal here at CLA in our Garden City, Long Island office. We are one of the top tier public accounting firms in the country with over 130 offices and about 9,000 employees. At CLA, we create opportunities for our clients and our people and our communities. We are more industry focused. We have about 14 industries that we rely on, and we do wealth advisory, digital, audit, tax, consulting, and outsourcing services. I am in the tax area. I've been that way. I've been there for 30 years, and we get to know our people and our clients in any way we can. We also are a global firm where we have affiliations in countries all over the world. So it gives us some added value to the whole worldwide perspective to our clients.
Appreciate it. Joel, if that's okay, would you please tell us about your career path a little bit? How did your career path unfold? Were there any unexpected turns in your career path?
Well, as basically, I graduated from Syracuse and went right into one of the big four. And then in 1994, the accounting industry kind of had a little downturn, and I found myself that I ended up with a small firm. So I've gone from the large firm back down to the small firm, and that firm then merged into a large firm, and up and down. And now I'm full circle back to a national firm in that area. I got my CPA designation about 3 or 4 years into my career, and then I went and got my master's in tax shortly after that.
Can you tell us about your work a little bit? What are the exciting and challenging parts of your work on daily basis?
Well, one of the reasons accountants are on the top of the listed trusted advisory people is that we take the time to get to know our clients, and to know where, and one of the trust, to honestly need in order to do our job. And that's really where I get a lot of interest in is getting to know the family, getting to know their business, getting to know what's going on, in an area where estate planning maybe you get to really see the full family picture.
Yeah, this is really exciting. And you meet with different companies in different sizes from different industries. That must be really informative as well for you because you are learning from them at the same time.
Yeah, our office in Garden City, we have a a concentration in the car dealership arena, and also in real estate and restaurants. But I've worked with manufacturers, I've worked with nonprofits, I've worked with personal services, doctors, and then certainly in the high net worth individuals and even the smaller clients. And getting to know the families is really where I get I have clients that I've known where I remember putting the kid on the tax return when they were born, and now they work for the company of the family business, and now I'm doing their return where they're getting a W-2.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just like the timeline. So you have years of experience, professional experience, and from your point of view, your professional observation and knowledge that you gather over the years, how do you see the state of U.S. small businesses nowadays?
Well, there's a big challenge, today, given the tariffs and the way that things are, have gone on. Um, one of the, with the one big beautiful bill act that was passed in July, that has a lot of benefits for clients. It was extending a lot of deductions that were going to possibly expire. But it's really hard to you know comprehend in terms of on a small business side as to the volume of it. You know, just the tariffs alone. I was sitting with a client, international client, the other day, and he was telling me, yeah, these tariffs, in India is really going to cause him a problem. They're going, it's costing him 3 cents instead of, you know, a dollar, one and a half cents for his cardboard that he does, work with. So it's just a way of getting, it's going to come into play, and where they're going to pass those costs are is going to be to the consumer, and that's really the problem. Some people are saying that they don't want to pass to the consumer, and they'll just try to increase their sales and expand, or they're going to have to, and then their sales are going to go down.
Yeah, that's a business decision that needs to be made, and not easy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also brought the information that you shared with me earlier
Yep.
to the screen just for our audience and viewers to see it as well,
Yep.
so they can.
So at CLA, we did this thing called a heartbeat index survey, and we kind of took the beat of about 14,000 people, business owners and such, and we took on in the various industries. You'll see, like, the likelihood of expanding in 2025. In comparison to June to July, there's not much of a change, but it's about 3 out of 5. The likelihood of hiring people is 3 out of 5 as well. And then the impact of tariffs. So you can see there's a little bit of hesitation in the various models here, in the changing customer demand. That's actually gone up a little bit in the past 6 months. So in the healthcare and retail, but that may, if the tariffs come on and they end up increasing the cost to the consumer, then that may end up going down, depending on what how much are people willing to pay for what they're needing to buy.
Yeah, this is such a great survey to gather information and hold on to the pulse of businesses. Very, very informative. Truly appreciate it, and definitely it gives us an idea as to how the heartbeat of the business market actually is. The name is just spot on in that sense. So yeah, truly appreciate it. Thanks for sharing.
Okay.
Um, Also, yeah, that's also what we are hearing too. Because of our podcast, we work and we talk to many different business leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, and yeah, recently we are hearing similar challenges as to how to navigate around the economy nowadays, how to address tariffs and other requirements. And one of them is actually AI happens to be.
Mhm.
So it is coming into the business world in a more practical sense nowadays. And as we see in the large technology firms, there are also layoffs started. The adaptation rate for the AI for the technology companies are higher naturally, and other businesses are also catching up. That's how it looks. It also creates a sort of challenging moment for businesses. And that's actually another question that I wanted to ask you. Speaking of AI, which is a very popular subject in our community, most of our audience are and listeners, they are business minded, they are interested in business, and part of is actually AI. So from your point of view, how do you see the impact of AI nowadays, based on your professional observation and knowledge in general?
So on an accounting side of things, we use AI comes into play. You type in something for research, AI pops up, and we can go ahead and get a summary. We can summarize our tax articles and such. One of the great things is with Copilot is when we have a Teams meeting, it'll take the notes for us. So at least, in that sense. So in there, I see it with the businesses, um, you know, in terms of bringing, employment. I'm hoping that it's not going to down the road. It's not expected to affect the employment in the accounting area, except for just making us more efficient. At least that's what we're trying to accomplish. Being able to push down other things to encourage our younger staff to do more. And by with the AI, it gives them a knowledge tool. And the client wise, they're going to use AI in the same, realm of trying to, make their business a little bit more efficient. And, they may use it in their coming up with their product or their, service line or, management expertise.
Yeah, this is a fascinating tool, that's for sure. And yeah, I actually mentioned it a couple of episodes ago. So I asked ChatGPT, "What do you think about the American Business Podcast?" So I learned a lot about myself as to what ChatGPT actually knows about the American Business Podcast. That was pretty cool experience. So the one thing that I really found out was actually the our new motto, new slogan is the voice of American business, right? That's how we position ourselves, which really who we are and what we do fundamentally, which makes a lot of sense. So there are only two organizations using that slogan. So and the other one has nothing to do with us in terms of business. So we have a really unique position there. So there is always something that you can learn, but ChatGPT makes it a little bit quicker and faster and more fun nowadays. Let's see what the future will hold. Of course, that remains to be seen.
Right.
But as
And
a
it's kind
tool, to your point, like a knowledge tool, as you as you put it nicely, it's pretty useful. Although at the moment still learning. I mean, we need to still double check. There is still human oversight is needed. Nevertheless, it's a great tool, that's for sure.
what I try to do is, I'll use Copilot or to, help me, formulate an email or something, but I then have to somehow rewrite some parts of it to make it sound like it's coming from me. That's the one
Yes.
thing that I don't like. When stuff is just my clients know how I speak. My friends know how
Yes.
I,
You have
and
a style, right? Yes, unique
right,
style. True.
right, right.
I think that's just like human DNA, right? We are all unique,
Yep,
and there will never be any other one just like us. That DNA is unique. That's because of it. So the way that we, to your point, the way that we write, we communicate, we interact, it has a certain style, just like our DNA. And to your point, if you've been working with a client for many years, they know you, they know your style, they can absolutely tell. So it makes sense.
yep,
Well, that's
absolutely.
great. So, well, I like to shift our conversation towards your role models and mentors, if that's okay.
Sure.
Would you please, share some of the role models and mentors that you have had in your career journey that have shaped your career?
I've had several. One is especially, obviously is being family and my father. My father was a West Point grad, grew up his own business in the Hop Hog Industrial Park, and a lot of the stuff that he's done has been embedded in me just from learning from him. He bought me the first issue of the Long Island Business News when I graduated from Syracuse, and I've been getting it ever since. The last 30 plus years. And it's just it's one of those areas. But I had a 10-year employment with a firm in Melville, where I learned really how to research, write, review returns, and advise clients. And I was there during the time in the order when I was advancing in the tax area. So the drive to succeed came from that. And in order to go ahead and get to that next level, the senior manager level, I needed my master's. So then I was like, okay, well, I need that. I'm going, and I went and I got my master's in tax. And it just kind of kept on. It kept with me, and there's a lot of people there that I'll hold meetings and and then I'll talk to them over during CM at a seminar or something, and I'll say, I still use your method of how to do certain things, and then there's other mentors is also in the community. There's people who really are involved in the community, and taking the personal aspect of my life.
Yeah, this is real nice. Thank you for sharing. If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be in your career journey?
So the one lesson that I learned that is in college, I should have taken two electives. The first is marketing, and the second is psychology. Marketing oneself is very important. So people get to know you as a person, they get to know your business, and they get to know what you represent. Psychology, on the other hand, so that way when situations arise where you're really stressed and other factors get involved in the office and clients, you know how to react and then be able to communicate better. Those are every time I look back at what I've done, I say, geez, I wish I was took those two classes, and in the accounting Syracuse, we had 18 accounting classes I had to take. I think I had like two electives that I was able to do, and now I think they're more marketing and stuff is in ingrained. But the first thing I was doing was trying to sell myself and create a quote brand of who I am, and that's very important. And that's why you try to get involved in whatever organizations you can, even outside of the firm.
Yeah, that's a great point. And absolutely, marketing is fun. Marketing is life. That's for sure. And that's a great point. Um, well, what are your biggest passions and interests outside of work?
So one of the biggest things is giving back. I grew up in Smithtown in Suffolk County on Long Island. My father, Philip Ackerman, like I had mentioned before, is a West Point grad. He served in the Army, formed a company called Databit, was actually the precursor of the fax machine, is what they developed. And one of his passions outside of his successful business was his involvement in the Smithtown Rotary Club. The charity that I grew up around stays with me every day. I remember going to their monthly meetings with him. I was this little kid playing with my Matchbox cars or whatever in the corner. But as I grew up, they had these happy dollars, sad dollars, and there's every time I would win, earn a an award or something, my father would be putting in one of those kind of things, or something would happen. And they took the Smithtown movie theater, and they would fill it with kids with special needs. And during the holidays, and they would put on the most recent Disney film, and then at the it's the one that they wouldn't have been able to go see. And then they would go ahead and at the end do a raffle for every kid would meet Santa, and every kid would walk out with a present, and they would raffle off bicycles to some of these kids. And it just that stuck with me for a long time. Now, I've been on the board of Epic Long Island for over 20 years. It was formerly the Epilepsy Foundation of Long Island. Um, I have epilepsy. I'm seizure free 33 years now. But and as soon when I was with the firm in Melville, one of the partners was a board member of the Epilepsy Foundation and said, "Hey, why don't you come to a dinner gala?" And I went, and I was like, I couldn't believe that the organization had existed. I had no idea, and it just I've been involved with them for so long now. I'm constantly being able to give out those resources, and to me, every day it's following in my father's footsteps. We do a walk for epilepsy in October, and I was in Hanover Park, and then most importantly, I'm Santa during the winter time for them in their South Shore, holiday party. And then I also follow in my dad's footsteps as he sang on the Ed Sullivan Show with the West Point Glee Club, and with his voice as I sang in college and in temple choirs, and I now have been performing in community theater for the last 10, 12 years.
Yeah, this is really exciting. And the impact of nonprofits actually is massive in our communities. That's for sure. Whether that's for epilepsy or for people with special needs, autism, and so on. And in our previous episode today, we also actually hosted CEO of Options for Community Living, and that's another nonprofit in the region, and they're also very active. And one of the good things about the nonprofits is that they work with each other. The cooperation creates more synergies for communities, and that's really, really exciting in
Yeah,
that sense.
Epic works with a lot of other organizations. I know we're working with some, in order to get our constituents out into the community. They'll go ahead and we have a program without walls,
Mhm.
which gets them to get jobs in, for a day to go ahead and help at the food pantries and such like that. So it's very much needed, and there's very often you'll see these people who are need these services. They also can do a lot, and it's just they may have something that is holding them back for because of their condition. But you'll all of a sudden see on online you see people who are blind who are going ahead and playing concert piano or singing on the kid who sang on America's Got Talent that was blind and autistic, who won several years ago. And that's the true showing that you can really do anything that you set your mind to.
Yes, absolutely. And today we started this special episode previously in the episode 63. We call these Voice of Nonprofits. And we are inviting nonprofits, and we would love to have Epic as well, and host them as well, because we
Mhm.
love to also promote nonprofits, what they do, as well as their leadership, how they actually help communities, and how they evolve. But one of the things actually I keep hearing from the CEO of Long Island Cares, Paul Pector, he kept saying nonprofits are also businesses. That's what he was saying, and that's just just spot on. Nonprofits are also businesses. They are not for profit. They are not for profit. They are like to serve communities, but they are also businesses. So we also learn from them in these episodes when we interact with them. So that definitely welcome any nonprofit that we
Yeah,
definitely love to host them, and also promote their cause, their services. That's a great conversation that we love to have. Um,
absolutely.
so the so historically, I'm very close to US manufacturing, and late last year I started to work with nonprofits because of my AI software background and my business. So what I found was the nonprofits in general, nationally, there are a lot of nonprofits nationally.
Yes.
So because I'm New York based, I started to meet with nonprofits in this region. Then when I was expanding nationally, working with nonprofits, and I saw the similar um, challenges that they are actually facing, similar goals that they have to serve their communities. Uh, and that is really, really exciting and motivational when we look at it. It is because the nonprofits are based on the good, right? They like to serve and they like to help communities. And we had a meeting at Habak Industrial Park a couple of months ago, and we invited all the nonprofits, and they talk about their
Hmm.
causes and missions and so on. When you're around good, I mean, good things happen, right? So that was a kind of environment, and that's why one of the reasons we love working with nonprofits and promoting with them is the positive energy that they create and help communities.
Yeah, one of the things I tell our younger people all the
Mhm.
time is if you are passionate about Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, cancer, whatever it is, find a committee. You don't, you're not going to immediately get on a board or something. And it took me time to get on the board of Epic. Um, but all I did is I was on the golf committee, and then I was on the gala committee, and yeah, and then I ended up going to a group home because I found a special needs bicycle that my wife got at a garage sale, and we ended up going out to the Yap Bank house that we have. Epic has 18 group homes, and the smiles on their faces when we walked in with this bicycle that some of them never rode a bicycle in their life, and all of a sudden they were able to. And those are the kinds of moments that you have that you'll never forget, and they'll never forget because that's just and it means so much. The community theater that I'm in, Epic sends maybe 6 to 7 group homes to those shows, and I go up to them after the show, and they're smiling, and it's like they don't get out to these kind of things. And yeah, they will go ahead and speak out. They'll have their moments and maybe an interruption of some sort. But we have kids on the stage, and they're like, "Wow, I can't." It's great that they came. It's so great to see them. And I have people that want to go up and meet them, and that kind of thing. And that's the exposure that you get.
Um, do you have any career advice for the next generation who are thinking about getting into accounting?
The the one thing that I could say is just stay up to date and really treat every connection as a potential client, and or even more so as a friend. You never know where that next referral is going to come from, or it may be just a person in need of personal help. Like I said, I was on the phone with somebody, and he had a friend who was having seizures. Well, guess what? I then go ahead and I relayed the information about Epic, and that was just a mere helping somebody. You never know where these things will lead, and without our community working together, and our businesses will struggle even more if we don't support one another. And we all want the best for our families and our community, and that's really what will tie Long Island and all the other businesses together.
For those who likes to be in touch with you, continue this conversation, what is the best way to be in touch with you?
You can email me at Joel, Joel.Ackerman, Ackerman @claconnect.com.
Appreciate it. Joel, thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule. I really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
the conversation. It was very informative. And I wish you a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you. Truly appreciate it. To our audience and to our listeners, I hope you like this episode. As always, we keep it informative, we keep it educational. And in this session, we had Joel Ackerman with us from CLA. And we talked about small businesses. We talk about nonprofits. We talk about AI and other popular subjects, informative content that we keep bringing it to you. And if you like to learn more about CLA, Joel also shared his contact information, and you can continue the conversation with him if you're interested. Would you like to be a guest in our business podcast? Do you have any feedback? Would you like to be in touch with us? Well, the best way is the email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. Also, we welcome sponsors and advertisers from organizations, corporations, and institutions. For those sponsorship and advertising inquiries, you can also send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. You can also visit our website, americanpodcast.tv. We keep our website updated. You'll also be seeing our coming schedule in the website. You'll also be able to learn more about our organization as well as our team and our activities. If you haven't done so, please visit our YouTube channel and subscribe. We have more than 120,000 YouTube subscribers. Thank you for your support. And a couple of weeks ago, we got the YouTube Silver Award. As you know, now the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business, is a YouTube award winner. We are growing thanks to your support. We are having more and more influence, and we are spreading this educational, informative content every week. So we truly appreciate your support. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll really appreciate it. Well, what else is happening? We just started a membership program that we like to talk about. Let's bring it to our screen. Well, we call this ABP membership program. This is designed to offer you some perks, some benefits Also, we appreciate your support, of course. And you can see the QR code right here. And if you scan this QR code, you'll see some membership programs that we have. We have different options that you can pick, whichever works for you. And you can be a supporter. Once you become a supporter, there are benefits. For example, we'll announce your support to our podcast. It's actually one of them. In addition, you can also benefit from some of the services comes with it. There are, for example, social media management software systems as part of the membership. If you're interested in email blasting, email marketing, we also have a membership program that includes email software system, for example, that you can use it monthly basis. As long as you are a member, you can enjoy the benefits of these. For instance, that's another benefit that you can enjoy. We have other benefits as well. We actually spell out all these benefits in the membership page that you can just scan here on top. It says be an ABP member that you can scan, and you can see the details of membership options. And we'll appreciate your support, and we'll keep making the ABP membership program more and more attractive for our viewers as well as our audience. Okay, what else is happening? We have great sponsors. We are getting more sponsors. We truly appreciate our sponsors and their support, of course. One of them, the latest edition, is Ms. Excel. If you are interested in learning about Excel software or other Microsoft software systems in a fun and enjoyable way, you may consider Ms. Excel. I got the QR code that you can scan. It'll take you to their website, and you can learn about the services, courses. I also have a discount code, ABP 2025. I'll give you discount, and you can sign up with the discount code. Next Friday, we have an online networking event. Would you like to meet with other business professionals? At the American Business Podcast, we only talk or discuss. We also act. That is why we created this Connection America Business Alliance. In these monthly networking events, which is completely online, you can connect from anywhere in the world, literally. So we only accept 10 attendees, and this is a live event. Will be streamed live on the American Business Podcast. You can introduce yourself, your business, your products and services, and the American Business Podcast audience, subscribers. Now we have more than 120,000. We'll also have a chance to learn about your business and your services. This is an exclusive business networking event, and we design it to be monthly. So we discuss different educational, informative subjects in the American Business Podcast. With the Connection America, we also help you connect with other businesses. That's a great opportunity. If you scan this QR code, it'll take you to a registration page, and we welcome you to register. We only have 2 seats available, if I'm not mistaken. So I hope you can make it. We have limited seating, and you can join us. That's for next Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, August 22nd. If you're in the market for ERP software systems such as SAP and Oracle, you can consider iTech Inc., iTech Consulting Company. iTech is specialized in consultancy and services. They offer SAP implementation services, configuration, training, integration services, and they have their own staff, and they'll give you the best service that they can with their own staff that they have it on their payroll. That's a company that you can trust. I have their QR code on the screen. You can scan this, and it'll take you to their website. And if you contact them, make sure you mention us, the American Business Podcast, so they'll know, and they'll offer you a discount for any services that they may offer to your business for any ERP, SAP, especially SAP ERP software system. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm looking forward to having you in the coming The American Business Podcast episodes. American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. Thank you very much. Have a great day.